Salutation nerds, this is Christian, a Firefly nerd, and thank you for joining. Of course, let's see what's cool today, but first I wanted to give a shout out to my sister Abigail. She drew this, and I think it's really cool. I sent her a picture of my logo, and she drew it. Now, she also may have hinted at wanting to or being willing to do ones for my other channels, and I actually have a few other channels I'm kind of working on. I have a Firefly Dragon, as you can tell this one's Firefly Nerd, which is just me wanting to be a nerd about things, give rants, my top 10s, the crazy top 8s like the I posted last week, and I'm working on the video quality for these, but I have Firefly Dragon here, Firefly Nerd, Firefly Anime, which is for now me learning to draw, but I'm a big writer, and I'm currently writing anime series that I hope to someday animate, and that's why I'm wanting to learn to draw so that I can animate those. I have Firefly Music, Firefly Cosplay. The music one I am planning on posting to this week. The cosplay one I am passively working on. I do really bad want to be a big cosplayer, but I'm just working on too many other things right now to fit that in. But aside from that, I think I have other channels in addition to that. So maybe someday I'll be able to interchange posters. But for now, Firefly Dragon is kind of like the mother channel, which I will be using until I have those other posters. Maybe sometime I'll explain why Firefly Dragon and all that, but this week I just wanted to kind of rant about why I think Flash is the speedster that makes the most sense. And the real buy-in to that is the Speed Force, and I'll explain why I think that is at the end of the video. But for speedsters, I can see 2 cons and 1 pro, in addition to going faster than is normal, for having super speed and being a hero. Now, being a villain, you might not care about the first con as much, but let's just consider it. We'll do the first con, the pro, and then the second con. In this analysis. First, to help you understand the first con, let's talk about the scene from X-Men Apocalypse, where Quicksilver is coming up on Charles's school, and he's going so fast that to him he's walking, but everything else is stopped, and his relative speed is just amazing. And let's just say he's going about 20,000 miles per hour. I'm really lowballing his speed just for simplicity. We'll also say he is just using the mass of his forearm to save people because there's an explosion. And surprise, the explosion is barely moving because of his relative speed. And so we'll just say he's using the mass of his forearm, just about 2 pounds, again lowballing it I believe, but since force is mass times acceleration, at his 20,000 miles per hour times his mass of 2 pounds, that converts to about 40,000 newtons. Now, I haven't looked into this, but I think to break the femur, I think that's easily enough to break the femur. So, just his forearm, not his whole body, not his whole arm even, just half of his arm, pushing you to save your life. It's probably going to kill you, to be honest. Let's just list a couple of ways that he is doing you damage. Let's say he pushes on your arm, broken. Maybe he instead grabs you, ripped off. Maybe not entirely off, I don't know how much force that takes, but definitely out of socket and probably broken wrist and stuff, because he would have to grab you enough to pull you, and at such forces, he's not avoiding breaking anything. Next, you're being flung with such velocity, whoop, all your innards, they don't keep up. It's just the way things work. Just for an example, you can spin around, spin just in a circle standing up, and hold your arms out. You can actually feel the blood being pushed outwards. That's a kind of the same idea as your heart, lungs, organs, everything just being smushed against your skeleton, your frame, as you're flung at high acceleration. As you know, it's not the fall that kills you, it is the sudden stop. It's the change in acceleration. So you can die similarly from being flung fast. It's that change in acceleration. So even if mixing up of your organs doesn't kill you, you're probably getting whiplash, broken neck, maybe broken spine, because of how hard he is throwing you. And at his speeds, he can't help it. 2 pounds of force, killing you. I mean, he could still save a handful of the students, not all 20 plus students that he did save in the movie, but I'm confident that he would be able to run up basically instantly, slow down enough to pick them up without killing them, accelerate slow enough that they don't kill them, and decelerate slow enough that they don't kill them. Do that maybe 5 times. I think he could save somewhere between 5 and 7 students, but not the 20 plus that he did. And he would have to do it with a much more procedural, in a much more procedural way, much slower. But this whole force, relative force, and speed is actually the next pro. And that is vibrating so fast that if something hits you, you still have relative force that it bounces off. I wouldn't suggest a hero use this against another person, because if they punched you, you'd be going so fast. Mix of friction, the force that the vibrating would, you'd probably at least break their arm, maybe set them on fire. So I wouldn't suggest doing it against conscious beings, living organisms. But it basically can grant you invulnerability against things like bullets. Just and maybe you still get a bruise or something, but of course your relative force is just so great that that dinky bullet can't pierce you. Although this also does make me skeptical of Flash's ability to run through walls. Yeah, he vibrates so fast that his molecules go through the wall. I mean, solid things are still moving. They're just solid because they aren't fast enough to be a liquid or a gas. So I would think that, look, it's moving. If you were going about the same speed, your molecules would have a more easy time than going so fast that you can't move, that you're hitting every square inch with every molecule thousands of times more, 1,000 times more. It's just running through walls just because you're vibrating doesn't make sense. I mean, not running through them where you aren't barreling through them doesn't make sense. But still, pro, invulnerability. Huzzah! And if you want an example of this from the comics, Flash's Infinite Mass Punch, where he just runs fast enough that he hits with such force that it's nuclear explosion power levels. The next thing is, the next con is, let's say there's Superman here, his opponent here, and Superman and his opponent are facing each other, and they're flying just over the speed of light this way. what happens? Well, since let's say this is light. Superman is doing this to light. But if he's doing this to light, he's not seeing the light. There is nothing he can see coming. He's outrunning his medium of sight. His opponent. Let's do the same thing. Opponent, this is light. His opponent, each moment is light. If he goes over the speed of light, even for a second, that's like 300,000 meters. He's getting about 300,000 moments in the span of 1 moment, though. More than, since he's going over the speed of light. So, I see 2 possibilities for Superman's opponent. His brain, well, 3. His brain can process over 300,000 moments instantly. Not likely. His brain processes that each 300,000 moments, but again, in a way, doesn't process it. Like, he sees all of the 300,000 moments, but can't process which moment he is in. Last is that there's such a buildup of light that his eyes glow white and he can't see. Superman, he's blind too. He outran his medium of sight. He is seeing black, nothing, entirely nothing. So they're both blind, and whichever one overcomes their blindness first wins. That just depends on processing power. Can this guy's brain outrun how far ahead of light Superman ran? All in all, Flash makes the most sense because of the Speed Force. The way it works, I've heard that it's basically Flash experiences a dilation of time. He's not running at 300,000 meters per second. He's doing something more akin to running 200 seconds in a second. It's just that dilation of time, and that can transfer to you when he touches you. So he can save you. He's not running with 40,000 newtons of force just in his forearm. He's running with as much force as your forearm. His forearm's as much force as your forearm when you run. He just runs 200 seconds per second. Now, I think he can control this a little bit. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to do the infinite mass punch. But, you know, Flash doesn't have to worry about slowing down to save people. He's only running as fast as normal, in a sense. And the whole running and experiencing light is a little confusing. Maybe the Speed Force can help with that. Maybe it speeds up the light he's going to experience too. But oh boy, it can't do that because then other people would experience blackouts or builds up of light. So, you know, the Speed Force isn't perfect, but it explains things that regular going fast doesn't. But, of course, remember to comment your thoughts on this, and, of course, remember to also like the video and subscribe to keep up to date with my videos. I have a lot more videos underway. Sometime I do want to explain what all this is about. Maybe I'll do that next week. But, of course, for now, this is Christian of 5A Nerd, signing out until next video.